Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, Gamer K, and it's been kind of the longest week hiatus I've ever had in regards to the last week of January. But now we're back in February 2020, and it's time for a couple of romance-y videos. I'm lying, of course. The only romance video will be next week for Valentine's Day. From the shirt, weapon, and this wonderful art piece, getting a zoom in on that. There you go. You can kind of tell what this week's video is going to be about. All about Kingdom Hearts. Now, Kingdom Hearts has been a truly amazing series from start to finish. Not only that, but as it went on and on and on, you start to wonder, like, are they going to get through all of this? Or is it just more stuff that's going to be shoved down our throats in the next series, which I really hope they get done not in the next 13 years. I don't want to be 38 and still waiting. Yeah, that's going to be heck. But overall, the final installment, Kingdom Hearts 3, was a beautiful masterpiece. It had everything I could have wanted, except for Cusco's world, but I digress. And also 2 new games will be coming out, one for mobile and one hopefully for the PlayStation, to kind of cover up some stuff that went missing. Now, as I praise this game so hard, I wonder if there are certain things that were undiscovered or ideas that just flew out the developers' heads, because yes, I praised it as a beautifully amazing game, and everything in the game is great from start to finish. But at some parts, you kind of wonder if they threw other ideas out to save time. And sadly, the game does seem like that. It seems like some things were taken out in order to save time. And here at the Game Hub, you know whose opinion really matters. This guy. So, let's log in as we go through the Gamer K's top 13 Kingdom Hearts 3 missed opportunities. Now, these things can be as simple as story elements, combat elements, aesthetics, basic stuff like that. Also, these are strictly my opinions. If you have your own opinions, feel free to comment them down below, or tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead. So, why top 13 again? Because here, only the odd can become number 1. So, starting off this list very easily, at number 13 is basically Pete Maleficent's role in this game. I mean, what happened? No, seriously, what happened? We see them digging for the box in numerous worlds. Also, in Olympus, it was kind of funny. They found Pandora's box and everything. But then the other worlds, like in Kingdom of Corona, in San Francisco, it got a little annoying that we didn't see them much. Also, why weren't they in Pirates? Why weren't they in the Caribbean? That would have been the perfect moment to be digging for stuff. No, seriously, that would have been a great ending cutscene. Also, through all the times they've been the main focus, kind of, on the majority of the games, such as number 1, number 2, Birth by Sleep, a little bit. Not the main focus, but a main role, just a little bit. But again, in Recoded, they were big enemies. In Dream Drop Distance, they even showed their faces for a cutscene, but they aren't utilized at all. Like, we don't get to fight them, which is a real shame, because with the new gen, with the combat system, fighting them would have been great. I mean, I can't imagine how it would be. But yeah, they weren't used as much. And we don't even get to see them. Like during the scenes before we go to the Keyblade Graveyard, they appear in Twilight Town, but never again until the ending cutscene of the whole game, and they don't even speak, they just see the box and walk off. So, yeah, Pete and Maleficent, the minor main focus of the previous games, never make a bigger appearance here. So, that part's confusing to me. Really hope it's explained better in the next game. Crossing my fingers. Command number 12. When the game came out, and I played to a certain part, I was really hoping to do the same thing that we did in the previous two games. The 100-Acre Woods. Yeah. I was ecstatic about that. Because I enjoyed finding the pages in the worlds, not knowing where they are, and bringing them back, do a fun minigame, and help out Pooh in them. What also I love about it is because this is the only world where there's never been any enemies. And I'm happy about that. But it turned out what should have been in this grand game where the worlds are much vaster and the treasure chests are hidden and you can't get some of them unless you swan dive and break a rock or something. You'd think they do the original. Something's happened to the book. Go find the pages, bring them back, and simple. Oh no! We just go into the book once! And then we do mini games to collect ingredients. So this has been a horde, a cornucopia for finding certain vegetables and honey. And I mean, they added Lumpy from the movie he was in. I can't remember because I never watched it. Big Heffalump movie. And it's the same thing. Pooh doesn't want Sora to leave, so he won't forget him. But this isn't the way to go. We go to this world once, and you can complete it. I would rather prefer it be a command board like in Birth by Sleep. At least that was fun and entertaining. But this, you do 3 mini games, which is, let's see, collecting vegetables, collecting fruit, collecting flowers in a Connect 4-ish way. Buy of all which you do within 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and that's it for Winnie the Pooh. One of the greatest worlds in the game because of how fun it was. And I'm telling you this, all the minigames are basically the same thing, just with different themes. So, let me get this straight. The world that had some of the most creative and most entertaining minigames in this series, you downgrade it just to get ingredients. Why? Why would you downgrade this world? I have no clue, but I think you guys need to think really hard because you're all full of stuffing! Did I just get that angry for a Winnie the Pooh world? Yes, I did. Command number 11. What should have been a big part of the game was okay, I'm just going to get right to it. Xehanort and Ericus's chess scenes. Yeah. Right when the trailer came out, when I saw these two playing chess, I was assuming after every world we complete, we'd go back to it, where they go back and forth as they play their chess game. Because technically, their chess game is pretty much what's going on throughout the entire series. Because, as you can see, most of the pieces have like emblems on them of the 13 darknesses and the 7 lights, if I'm getting that correctly. But no, it's just the beginning of the game, at the middle of the end, and at the direct end. So this epic moment between Ericus and Xehanort when they were younger, you'd think that they would expand on this after every world, you know, like they do a little banter about their lives. Ericus kind of getting a little uneasy about Xehanort's obsession with the dark powers and all that. I mean, that could have started then. Also, Drake Bell as young Master Ericus. Hug me, brother. That was a good idea. But, yeah, this entire segment would have been awesome. It gave a little bit more context to their backstory. But no, focus had to be on Sora, you know, gaining the power again. Can we just get to the next one? And let's see, the next one is, oh, yeah. Number 10, Kairi's training. Okay, so for two games, we have played as Riku. We played him in Chain of Memories, never completed it, but I know we play him. And for the mostly in Dream Drop Distance. I enjoyed it. However, we finally get Kairi. She's not kidnapped yet. Until the end. We see her training with Lee to be a Keyblade wielder. And this would have been amazing. There could have been segments where we could have stopped to be Sora and gone and trained as Kairi in this whatever world they're in. It's nothing but a sunset and a cliff. So maybe another area of Twilight Town. But it would have been fun to practice fight with Lee, practice fight with some Heartless, have her do magic, have her do limit lock shots, have her do all of that. But no, we just get a couple quick cutscenes of her writing a note. And then getting ice cream. No wonder she got kidnapped so easily. I'm sorry, but it would have been such a great scene, such great moments. You know, during the cutscene parts, Lee could kind of hint that Kairi obviously likes Sora and all that. Come on! I mean, yeah, I'm a sucker for good, cute moments, but it's just one of those things that people wished for, but obviously wishing wasn't hard enough. So maybe they'll do something different. I mean, we did get to play Kairi once in the Remind DLC, but I'll get to that video when I get to it. Okay, number 9. This one a lot of people may not agree on. I wanted more summons. Those heart bands were perfect instead of those dinky little charms. At least they explained a bit in this game, the heart binders. And I enjoyed them. Having Meow Wow. Would have preferred Wreck-It Ralph would have had his world first instead because... Okay, yeah, technically Chicken Little, Dumbo, Bambi didn't really have their worlds in this game, but still, I loved Simba's, I loved Ariel's, Stitch's was funny and cool. I just wish there were more of previous friends from the previous games, like having Jack Skellington would have been great. He would have been all Christmassy, like with snow around him as we kind of danced around like we did in his Limit Break and in Kingdom Hearts 2 with all the Halloween stuff coming out. And as we danced, we created all these ghosts. And at the end, all the ghosts exploded and danced and damaged enemies. It would have been fun having Jack back. Let's see, who else would have been awesome? From previous games. Why not Neku from Dream Drop Distance? I mean, it could have all been rhythm-based. Oh, wait, Ariel's rhythm-based. Doesn't matter. Neku was cool. I've never played The World Ends With You, but I love the characters, and they should have had him as a summon, because we're obviously not going to see you in Shibuya, buddy. But yeah, more summons would have made a couple bit more combat styles. So yeah, more summons. It's lower on the list because it's not that big of an issue. Although, coming at number 8, we do get bigger issues. Revisit worlds. I know, all these worlds are long enough. We don't need to revisit them. But I say we do need to revisit them. I mean, why not, right? I mean, we did it in Kingdom Hearts 2, and they managed to come up with some fairly clever side stories after the main story. Mulan's was exceptional. Port Royal, Jack Skellington, Halloween Town, the Pride Lands, which kind of tied in a little bit to what Simba could have been feeling at the time after the main story. But it could have added more. I mean, yeah, we defeated the main threats and all, but couldn't they have added, like, more threats? I mean, why not? Like, maybe like, you know, after we finish every world, we have to go back after we, what am I thinking? You know, like a main part of the game where we have to go to either Twilight Town and stop a big threat, and then they warn us that following them again was going to land into trouble. I mean, we could have gone back to the toy store, and, you know, there'd be more Heartless, and a cool Heartless to fight. Tangled, we could have done that and seen how life was going afterwards. You know, it may have been happy, but maybe people are having doubts about Flynn and everything. Actually, I haven't really thought all this through that much. I mean, the revisit worlds would have been fun. I mean, obviously we can revisit the worlds for, like, grinding and, you know, getting stuff that we couldn't before. But I want it story-based, like we did in Kingdom Hearts 2. They took out one of the best parts about Kingdom Hearts 2, and they didn't implement it here. Okay, yeah, they made the worlds longer, but you know what I mean. It would have been fun to adventure more and to discover different stories for all these worlds. Coming in at number 7, this one's a big for me. Enemies. Let me just start. They did incredible work with the Heartless, coming up with new ones, making the older ones look more intimidating, more in depth. They did a lot in terms of Heartless, but the Nobodies and the Unversed got the short end of the stick here. For how many new Nobodies did we get? Let's see. We got the Reaper in Corona. We got the Ninja in Arendelle. And that's it. There's 13 of them. And you only gave us 2 new ones only because Larxene and Marluxia are back. Why not have the rest of them from the old organization members who did not return? Like, Vexen was a part of them for a little bit. We could have had to deal with a nobody that's more of a scientist and kind of, you know, create shields for the other Nobodies until he's defeated. We could have had one for Zexion where it constantly moves and doesn't stick in one place, so you have to use magic to stop it. We could have had Lexius's, who was a beefy powerhouse, but slow. Like, there was possibilities for that, but they did not do it. They only did the 2 that appeared in the game, that appeared in the world. And then the Unversed. Holy crap, the Unversed. One of my favorite enemy types because they came directly from Vanitas. Yeah, and I counted how many of them they were used in Monsters Incorporated, in Monstropolis. Let's see, we get the Flood. we get the flower snake, we get the spiked turtle toad, we get the regular turtle toad, we get 4! I'm just gonna ask, why wasn't the entirety of Monstropolis stuck with only unversed? You didn't need to add the Heartless. You could have come up with a whole bunch of other unversed, or brought in the old ones, but also add new ones that were awesome. I mean, I did like the new ones they added, but it's the fact that because Vanitas is the main in this world, and he only came up with 2 new ones and 1 giant version. Also, why weren't there more unversed bosses in this? We get 1 at the end. I mean, in this entire world, and if you look at the previous worlds, we get like 3 boss fights each level. Monstropolis, we get 1. We get 1 boss fight, and we don't even get to fight Randall. But I will comment on that when the time comes. But yeah, the enemies in this game, other than the Heartless, are kind of on short supply. The Nobodies only got 2 new ones. The Unversed only got 2 new ones. Like, come on, guys. And obviously they won't be using the Unversed ever again unless, they find some way to do it. Which I kind of hope so, because the Unversed were robbed in this game. Well, nobody knows my emotions, so let's go. Coming in number 6. This one's not that heavy, but I put it on the list. More worlds would have been nice. But obviously I already commented on that in my top 13 worlds I want in Kingdom Hearts 3 before the game was released. So, yeah, I would have loved to see Pocahontas, Emperor's New Groove, Zootopia, Bug's Life would have been kind of cool. But overall, the worlds that we did get, I do like. It's just, it feels like they were too few of them. Because if you think about it, if you cut out Twilight Town, we only got like 7 worlds out of this whole game, which, okay, is fine, but I just wish there was, I mean, this is the final one. You're supposed to keep it lengthier, and more worlds would have definitely done that. I mean, there could have been like 3 more worlds before you go to the Keyblade Graveyard. I mean, it's just a vast empty space with the world right stab in the middle. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be like that because there's that giant dreadnought ship, but still, I wish that they'd done more for that segment. Coming in number 5. Okay, if you know that I like to rant a lot, get ready to have earplugs. Number 5, the Caribbean and Monstropolis. I put these 2 together because they suffer from the same thing. A world that feels underdeveloped. So let me explain. In Monstropolis, we are obviously turned into monsters. We have to help get Boo back home because she was playing with Mike and Sully. The Unversed appear, so we need to protect them. Also, I still hate that the Heartless are in this world. Unversed should have ruled it all. And then, turns out Randall's back, and he's kind of using these monsters to get the company back into scaring kids and everything. And then the lump of horror appears, and yeah, that's an intimidating Unversed. Just wish there were more of them. The problem that Monstropolis suffers in this game is the fact that there's no boss fights outside of the one at the end. And it's intimidating as heck, and I've died a good number of times on that boss. But it's not enough. All the other levels got like 2 to 3 more bosses, and this one gets 1. And there were plenty of opportunities to do so. Like, there could have been unversed bosses. We could have fought Randall for 1. I mean, oh wait, we don't really fight Disney villains in this one. We only fought Davy Jones and Dark Baymax and Snowball. Okay, we fight a couple, and the Titans. Okay, we fight a couple Disney villains. But at the same time, you had Randall Boggs, a chameleon, who could blend in and we would have to find him. And he could have called unversed at his beck and call, because obviously maybe Vanitas worked out a deal with him. If he gives him the unversed, he would create as much negative emotion as possible, and Randall would get the company. I mean, that would have been great. That would have been super perfect. I mean, it's not like any of the villains haven't interfered with the world's inhabitants before. I mean, Marluxia definitely helped move things along. But yeah, Monstropolis definitely suffered from a lack of boss battles. And now we go to the Caribbean, where it had a plentiful of boss battles. We had the Raging Vulture, not that great, the Lightning Fish, which was beautiful, and Davy Jones and the Kraken a little bit. So, and also the world is huge. We get to go to different islands, explore them, see all their wonders, get their treasures. And we also get to go to, obviously, Port Royal, which, honestly, is a hell of an improvement from Kingdom Hearts 2, because it's not all dark. So, if I'm praising it so much, why am I giving it this kind of high spot on the list? Well, come closer. There's no story. Barely any story. And one of the bigger problems of this game is the story seems to run right past you. So obviously we are stuck in the Davy Jones locker. We start off by running with Jack to catch the ship. And then we have cutscenes, and then we flip over, then we fight the Raging Vulture, then we get stranded on an island, where we have to find our own ship underwater most of the time. And Jack doesn't come with us, so, and then after we get the ship, we do a little test run, we race Luxord, or Luxord, whatever they call him, I like Luxord. We race him to Port Royal. We collect white crabs. We find out Jack wasn't really with us. It was just a combination of crabs by Tia Dalma. And then we have to go right to the storm to finish the level. The level is over in the blink of an eye. And what's worse, we don't even get Jack for that amount of time. I mean, we don't even get to fight with him for a majority of the time because it's not even Jack. What would have been great, I mean, the only time we ever get to fight with Jack is after the level's done and we go back to explore all the other islands. So we don't get to use Jack ever, pretty much, during the story. It zips by you without a minute to breathe. No, seriously, after you do one thing, you're forced into another and you don't have time to catch your breath until the next section starts. So, yeah, Port Royal suffers from lack of enjoying the world. It's like, okay, you're almost done the game. You have to zip through this as fast as possible. Which sucks, because I enjoyed the world. But, again, you don't get to enjoy it. It's like you sit down at a restaurant, you order your food, you have to eat as fast as you can because the people want you to get the hell out because they have more customers on their way. You don't get to enjoy what you're doing. So, to sum up, Monstropolis, amazing story after the movie. Unfortunately, no boss battles to enhance the world, the combat. Caribbean, great boss battles, great atmosphere. Sadly, the story is shoved down your throat and there's no time to enjoy it. So basically, that's what I'm going off on. Number 4 is a problem that the game kind of gave us. The Neo Princesses of Heart. Marluxia and Larxene discuss it in their respective worlds, and then it's never brought up again. Seriously? I mean, they already said that because of the old Princesses of Heart gave up their abilities, there was going to be new princesses. So we got Elsa, Anna, Rapunzel, obviously. So, are we? Does that mean that in the next game that the worlds with the remaining princesses are going to be available? I say Wreck-It Ralph because Vanellope, she is technically a princess. I guess Pocahontas could count. I mean, she's not a princess, but she's definitely pure of heart, so that would definitely work. Who else is a princess that would work? Kita from Atlantis. You know, if they had the stones to put this in the game, which they obviously won't. I don't know who else could be in the game. Who else could be a Princess of Heart? But it's something that was explained, but never redone. It's like a cliff note that you're using for your project, and then you never, like, you bring it up once and you feel like, okay, that's gonna fit the project, and then you don't reference it again. It's one of those things. So, in the next game, please for PlayStation, please for PlayStation, please for PlayStation, we need more. We need to help. Maybe that's what they'll do. They'll have Kairi and Riku go into the other worlds, find the new Princesses of Heart, because maybe that's the way they can get Sora back. That would be awesome, and it would give us some time to play as Kairi and for her to venture off into these worlds. Okay, we're at the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, so I may go a little overboard with these ones, because anytime I'm at the top 3, I get either really excited, really confused, really pissed off, or a combination of all 3. Command number 3, which should have been something that was so simple, but they ignored it. Expanded Twilight Town. I mean, this is one of the greatest original levels in Kingdom Hearts myth and Kingdom Hearts story, the saga. I mean, yeah, Hollow Bastion was great, and then it got turned to Radiant Garden. Traverse Town was pretty enjoyable until it didn't really need to be. But Twilight Town was so beautiful because it had its own inhabitants that weren't based on Final Fantasy. Hayner, Pence, Olette, they were amazing characters from start to finish. However, Twilight Town is not good from start to finish. One thing I do enjoy is that how they brought the bistro into it and had Remy from Ratatouille for a very fun cooking minigame. And every dish makes your mouth water. And I like how we got introduced to Remy. It was clever, really fun. And the whole downtown area where we see the movie theater, we don't really do anything there. And then down underground at the mansion where we fight the Heartless. But what the hell were they thinking when they were restricting this world to, okay, place where you can do minigame, place where you fight, place where you fight. It's basically 3 sections. From the town, to the tunnel, to the mansion, and the forest. They limited one of their most amazing worlds for what reason? And we don't even really get a boss fight in Twilight Town. Like, I mean, we fought the Demon Tide. I mean, we didn't defeat it. We just fought it off for a good majority of the while. And then we fight the Nobodies, which, okay. Also, we don't even get to go to the struggle area. Like, why wasn't that there? That could have been a great area for a boss fight. Like, a nobody or a heartless monster fighting in the arena. The clock tower. Why can't we go to the train station? Why can't we go to the tower? Another great place for a boss fight. I mean, there was a giant boss fight in that area, and it was literally the end of the game. Like, why? Also, the other set of Twilight Town in number 2, where we discovered the 7 wonders. We couldn't even go in the mansion. What were they thinking? Limiting Twilight Town to a bare bones level. It feels more like a hub world than anything else, where you don't really do anything fun. And it's just a disappointment. One of my favorite worlds in this regard is a disappointment. And it's a shame. And I was hoping in the Remind DLC will expand on that because, you know, I saw Final Fantasy characters in Radiant Garden, but no, nothing in Twilight Town. It was all in the Keyblade Graveyard, just rehashing the final battles. It was amazing, but not enough. Not enough, Square Enix. Not enough. Command number 2. This kind of got fixed in the Remind DLC, but not enough. Number 2, multiple playable characters. I mean, yeah, I know we get to fight as Riku at the beginning of the game, kind of. And then later on, we get to fight as Aqua. Not enough. One segment for each other new character does not consummate multiple playable characters. I was really looking forward to, okay, yeah, while we were doing a Sora's journey, we could have done Kairi and Riku's throughout all this. You know, while Riku and the King find out what happened to Terra, find out what happened to the others and everything, discovering more. You know, we explore Radiant Garden, we explore the Dark Realm without that boss fight at the beginning. And again, Kairi's training, like I said in number 10. We could have done that as well instead of cutscenes explaining everything. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy playing as these characters. I want to feel like I'm I'm contributing to the game, explaining things to me. But no, cutscenes are the way to explain things without putting in any extra effort. And I hate it. I want, in the next game, I want less cutscene explanations and more playing through that explanation. Alright, the number 1. Let's see. I've talked about some elements of gameplay, talked about some elements of story. What could be the number 1 that makes me kind of frustrated? Well, it was in number 1. It was somewhat in number 2. It was in Birth by Sleep. But somehow it did not get into the final game. Radiant Garden, ladies and gentlemen. After revamping it to what it was, we don't get to explore it again. And with the new system that Sora has, you think they didn't put Radiant Garden into the game to, I don't know, find out more about Xehanort, because yeah, Xehanort was in Radiant Garden for a majority of his time, so we might be able to find out more about him and everything. But no, everything we do in Radiant Garden amounts to a couple cutscenes, and that's it. We don't get to explore. We don't get to go to the castle again. In Birth by Sleep, it was so grand and so beautiful. I would have loved to go there again, and obviously only have the Unversed there again, because obviously Vanitas would not want us to investigate further, because you know he's Xehanort's technically Xehanort's son, if you kind of understand that whole thing. But still, Radiant Garden should have been included. It would have fixed the issues of having a limited Twilight Town, and then trailers fooled us when they showed us Leon, Yuffie, Eartha, Sid in the Radiant Garden in the Remind DLC. But no, we got tricked again. It's only cutscenes because we do data battles. And that's why I'm not completing that segment of Remind, because I am not a glutton for punishment. Again, so much potential. So much influence for boss fights. Not data boss fights. So much intrigue into diving more into the story of Xehanort. But everything had to be rushed, I believe. They had so much time to do this, and they did not do any of it. Radiant Garden, you were an amazing world when we played you as Hollow Bastion and in Birth by Sleep. However, We're never getting you again. And I don't see it in the future. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for my top 13. Hope you enjoyed the list. Like, comment, subscribe down below. And next week, it's the holiday of love, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be going a little bit more in this segment, in another top 13, and a special guest will be joining us. This is Gamer K, logging out.